Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Post to Post. If you're new, my name is Neil, and every Friday on this channel we look at jersey concepts. There was a bit of a short-term hiatus on the channel recently. Unfortunately, my dog did pass away. I made a video about that. I do apologize for being away for the 2 weeks, but we're getting back on the horse now and getting back into looking at NHL jersey concepts. This week's set is by, let's see here, actually I forgot already, it's Tsunami Boy, and he submitted Prototype. So I'm not exactly sure what that means. However, the first file name here is called Designer Note. So I think we're going to get some context because I've not seen this before. This is a reaction video. You've not seen them. I've not seen them. Let's react together and let's see what Tsunami Boy has for us. So let's bring up the Designer Note and let's see what this designer has to say. Okay, I need to rearrange out my screen here a little bit. A lot of text. Okay, this series of jerseys combines what could have been and what should not have been. For each team, I have used a design/logo/jersey that was either unpopular or unused. Okay. For the unpopular jerseys, it is something that was not liked by fans. For the unused jerseys, it is something like a prototype or an unused alternate logo that never got a chance to be on an NHL team's sweater. Each team has one jersey. Enjoy. Okay, well, thanks for that, Tsunami Boy. Appreciate that. Let's move on to the first one. It's going to be the Ducks. Well, there's a write-up for this one, too. Disney's The Mighty Ducks was the movie that kicked off the road to the Anaheim's NHL franchise. In the movie, the team is seen wearing this logo on their jerseys. However, it has never been officially worn by the team, the NHL team. So yes, that's true. They have not. I think that the colors are throwing me off a little bit. I'm looking at the gold, and I think there needs to be a little bit of separation between the gold and between the orange. They got the white stripe there that's at the top of the orange underneath the logo, but I'd have to add that in there because the orange is a little bit dark and because the bronzy, whatever it is a little bit dark. I just think there needs to be a little bit more separation in there. In terms of the logo, I'd be okay with that, like as an alternate, but I think it would have to be on a different platform in terms of color. Maybe their original colors back at the eggplant, in the green a little bit. I don't know if the black and the orange is kind of the direction that I would personally go. Okay, next, the Boston Bruins. All right. Despite the infamous Pooh Bear jersey returning in the Reverse Retro series, the logo itself was not a popular one amongst hockey fans when it debuted in 1995. That's true. It was not a very popular jersey. In fact, a lot of people hated it. But it's now nostalgic, and that's a trend. Anything nostalgic is now popular again. So the Pooh Bear is now popular. So would this jersey or uniform translate into likability today? I think a little bit. I think it runs into the same issue that I talked about in the previous one, where maybe we need some separation in between the black and the brown and the striping. It's two very dark colors. I would probably add a little thin yellow stripe in there, pull the yellow from the rest of the jersey and put it in there. But I think using the Pooh Bear logo in the future is definitely a good idea. Okay, next, the Buffalo Sabres. Oh, it's the Buffaslug. Heck yeah. And the 2006-07 NHL season, the Sabres debuted the Buffaslug logo on their uniforms, which, to the dismay of their fans, the logo was later replaced by Buffalo's classic logo in navy in 2010. Yeah, the Buffaslug was not popular at all, and I definitely know people who still don't like it. However, I love it. I think it's great, and I would love to see it come back, even as a shoulder patch. I think that would be pretty cool. Now, this jersey is really, I guess, logical in the sense of color. Buffalo uses a blue as a primary. They use a white as an away, obviously. They've got the black goat jersey as an alternate, which is amazing. But the inverse of the home jersey would be a yellow as the primary. So why not have this color as a primary for the alternate? I think the execution of stripes is good. Primary color matches well with the stripes and the pants and the gloves and stuff. The logo itself, I don't love the fact that there's text on there. Sometimes they talk about elements and having primary and secondary elements, and when you're designing things, you really have to think about that. It doesn't matter if it's a jersey or a logo. It could be a billboard, could be a movie poster. It doesn't really matter. In this situation on the front of the jersey, we really have two primary logos here, the Buffaslug and then the word or the text Sabres. And there needs to be a decision on size. I think Sabres needs to shrink down, or the Buffaslug really needs to become the secondary element and really kind of slide in maybe between the B and the E, just get a little bit smaller, because right now they're kind of fighting for attention. Next, the Calgary Flames. The Flames debuted an alternate jersey with the script font in 2013. Though the jersey garnered mixed reviews among fans, some loving it and some hating it, it was abandoned after just 3 seasons. I do remember this logo, and I think it's, as far as text logos go, it's not bad. It's probably more so to do to the actual font that's chosen here. It's pretty scripty, so I do like that. It gives it a lot of personality. So I could see this logo coming back maybe on a jersey, and I think the application here might be a little bit too close to the home jersey. I would expect maybe a black as the base here, because the black version of that logo is pretty cool. You could almost have like black on black, kind of like the New Jersey jersey. Here we go. Next up, Carolina Hurricanes. In March 2024, the Carolina Hurricanes released a survey containing multiple different logos under consideration for potential rebrand. The team asked fans for feedback. It's very Cardinals, isn't it? It's a bit baseball looking. I think that's okay in like a t-shirt, a hat, maybe a hoodie or something. But on a jersey, I would just prefer them to use an actual logo. I don't like script logos on jerseys like that. Shoulder patch even. That's totally fine. But I would not be a fan of this. I don't mind the overall uniform itself. It's okay, but yeah, I'm not a fan of that logo. Okay, moving on to the Blackhawks. Sorry, despite the fact that the C with Tom Hawk's logo has been part of the Blackhawks rebranding since 1995, the logo has never found its way onto the front of a Hawks alternate jersey. Yes, absolutely true. So the Blackhawks have used an iteration of that logo. There's probably about 8 or 9 iterations of it. There's different colors and swapping and stuff. Lots of history with that logo. Like it a lot. Not a fan of it on the front of a jersey. To me, it's going to forever be a alternate logo, whether it's on the shoulder or whether it's just on a t-shirt or something. I don't know. There's something. It just feels off. Like I want the typical Blackhawks logo on the front. Okay. Wow. What is this? The Colorado Avalanche. When the Quebec Nordiques were preparing for their move to Denver, the team owner considered Rocky Mountain Extreme as the team's name. Ooh, I don't like that. After this information was made public via newspapers, the fan base shut it down pretty quickly. Okay, thank you, Colorado and Denver fans. I appreciate that. Yeah, not a fan of that name at all. Interesting uniform. The striping is maybe a little bit too bold, but the logo itself is pretty cool. I'd be okay with that logo. I think it's maybe lacking some depth, but it's not bad. Okay, moving on. Ooh, the Columbus Blue Jackets. The Columbus Blue Jackets revealed their Stinger logo in 2000. Many hockey fans thought that the logo was too silly and unprofessional. They weren't wrong. A modified version of the logo served as the team's shoulder patch from 2000 till 2004. Yeah, they definitely weren't wrong. It was a little bit silly, a little bit goofy, a little bit cartoony. At the time, it kind of fell flat and short for sure. However, we've talked about nostalgic things on this channel quite a bit because there's so much retro stuff in hockey, and I think there's a lot of nostalgia for this logo. I would think a lot of people would like to see this come back, maybe not necessarily as a permanent home or even a permanent alternate, but like a specialty jersey. I think that would be pretty cool. And the colors and the uniform actually here are tremendous. I actually really like this design quite a bit. It's probably my favorite so far, so thank you for this one, Zonami. Next, the Dallas Stars. Okay. The 2010-2011 season, the Dallas Stars were considering a Nod to the North Stars night, where the team would wear jerseys inspired by the Minnesota North Stars. However, this never came to fruition. I think that the Minnesota Wild would not be pleased with this design. However, I do kind of like it, like a specialty. Not a home, not an away, not an alternate, but a specialty if the Minnesota Wild didn't exist. Moving on. Okay, Detroit Red Wings. For their Reverse Retro 1.0 uniforms, the Red Wings created what was dubbed by many fans a practice jersey due to its lack of color and lackluster design. Yeah, there wasn't really much going on in Reverse Retro 1.0. So this what we're seeing here is a little bit close to the away jersey. It's kind of like in between the home jersey and away jersey design. Obviously, it's colored to be an away. I think this would be okay. Like, this is very traditional Detroit, so it would be accepted for sure. Okay, next, the Edmonton Oilers. Oof. In their 1996-97 season, the Edmonton Oilers switched their color scheme from the classic blue, orange, and white to a copper, navy, and red scheme. This angered many fans as it abandoned the Oilers' traditional branding. Yeah, a lot of people were not happy with this. I think there's potential for something here. The copper color is such a difficult color to work with when you're using it in the amount of percentage that we're seeing here. It's such a dark and muddy and uninspiring color. It's difficult to use it as a secondary color. It almost needs to be a tertiary color, like at best. It needs to be a complementary tertiary color. Very difficult to make a secondary color. But this isn't that bad, actually. It's one of the best concepts I've seen using kind of this design language for this, or branding language rather. Okay, the Florida Panthers. Wow. Interesting socks and jersey here. Let's see what it says. In 2009, the Panthers donned a navy and powder blue jersey, much to the confusion of Panthers fans. Many fans believe that the jersey was a product of a corporate partnership with JetBlue. Actually, I didn't know that. The jersey was gone after 3 seasons. When I look back at the jersey, I like it quite a bit. I would love to see them bring that back. I think that would be pretty cool. The design here is, like, obviously those are waves, but it also has like spiderweb kind of vibes to it as well. So, or like Batwing. So I'm getting like a little bit of weird vibes from the design, but I like the idea. I think you could do something with it. It's got really good balance between the pants and the bottom of the jersey. Like, there's a really good relationship there, really good bridging. So I think there's a really good base here for sure. The LA Kings. For the 1995-96 season, the LA Kings, along with some other NHL teams, donned innovative uniforms using sublimation, resulting in many terrible hockey uniforms, including the infamous Burger King. Yeah, not a very popular jersey at all. And this is one of the ones that it's even hard to get nostalgic about. Like, I don't want them to bring this back. I don't know many people who do. The logo is not super great, so I would not personally be a fan of this one. Okay, moving on. The Minnesota Wild. When searching for a logo for the Minnesota Wild, the team scrapped many unused designs, such as the one on the jersey, before eventually landing on the Forest Bear. I didn't know that these logos existed. Some of them are pretty cool, actually. A little bit Wonder Woman looking vibes, but pretty cool. Like as a shoulder patch or something, I think that would be pretty neat. In terms of the uniform, yeah, it's okay. I'm wondering what red pants would look like there. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about this one. And moving on. The Montreal Canadiens. Though not very many of the Habs jerseys are disliked, many fans agree that the 2008-2009 throwback barber pole jersey were a bit of an eyesore. They wore them for one game. Yeah. At the time, not super popular, but looking back and seeing how safe that the Canadiens have played it, and then looking at other teams like the Toronto Maple Leafs, where they make all kinds of jerseys. They just go crazy with jerseys, and some of them are misses, but a lot of them are really good. So I think Canadiens fans kind of look back like a decade and a half and go like, I kind of wish the Canadiens would kind of take a couple of risks and stuff. The barber pole is one of those risks. Bring it back, not as a permanent alternate, not as a home and away, kind of like some of the other ones, but as a specialty jersey. Absolutely. And I think the rendition of this by Tsunami Boy with less barber pole and a little bit more like base blue is probably the right direction. So it's still pretty aggressive, but it is a nice uniform. I like it. Okay, the Nashville Predators. Wow, look at those rips. Though it has served as an alternate logo and shoulder patch on many Preds jerseys, the skull-like saber-tooth tiger logo has never gotten the chance to be displayed as a primary jersey logo. Yeah, I'm a little conflicted. I think that I would be okay with that logo on the front for sure. It's just the slashes go a little bit too hard for me in this design. A little bit too aggressive. I think it's either or. Got to have them on the shoulders and maybe nothing in the middle, or have it in the middle and then maybe nothing on the shoulders. It's just quite distracting, but cool idea for sure. Okay, next, the New Jersey Devils. After the Colorado Rockies moved to New Jersey, the team's name, Devils, was announced alongside this logo. However, the logo was later changed and the N and J became one shape. I mean, why not do a little bit of a throwback to this one? It's not that different. I think I would be okay with this for sure. Okay, next, the Islanders. Fisherman, let's go. In 1995, the Isles moved away from their classic branding and created the infamous Fisherman logo. It was despised amongst fans and was gone after 2 seasons. This is a perfect example of something that was very hated at the time, still is hated by a lot of people, but it is flipped. It is flipped. I'm sorry. There are more people who like the Fisherman now than dislike the Fisherman, just based on all the comments that I've read and on social media and in my videos over the past 8 years or whatever. The Fisherman is more loved than it is hated. So I don't think this is super plausible because it is so hated by the specific fan base, but I do like the design. So it's a really good uniform, and I would love them to have something like this, but not going to happen. Next, the New York Rangers. In the mid-90s, the New York Rangers were looking for an alternate jersey. They eventually landed on the Lady Liberty jersey, but many designs like Red New York were scrapped. Yeah, it's a good thing because that's pretty boring. I mean, it's not bad. It's just the Lady Liberty is amazing. It's such a good jersey. I can't imagine not getting it and getting this instead. This is just a little bit boring. Yeah, Lady Liberty all the way. Okay, next, the Ottawa Senators. During the campaign to bring the NHL hockey back to Ottawa, this logo was used. However, after securing the team, the logo never made its way onto an NHL uniform. Yeah, good t-shirt logo, good hat logo, good shoulder patch maybe, but not a primary logo. Nah, not for me. I like the jersey design though. It's pretty cool. It's a little bit Toronto Maple Leafs with the maple leaf there, but it is pretty cool uniform design. Okay, next the Philadelphia Flyers. What the heck is this? In 1969, long before the era of gritty, Freddie Flyer served as the mascot for Philadelphia's NHL squad. He was often used in promotions and branding. However, he was eventually replaced by Slapshot. I have never in my life heard of Freddie Flyer. And that on the front of the jersey is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen. There is no way that's going to happen, okay? Put it on a t-shirt, not on a jersey. Okay, next. Oh, very interesting jersey. In 1992, the Penguins switched their logo from the traditional skating penguin to what was dubbed the Robo Penguin by fans. In 1995, the Pens debuted these alternate jerseys. Many fans greatly despised them. I was, 10 at the time-ish? 9 maybe, so I don't super remember like what people thought of the jerseys at that time. However, I know now that it's greatly loved, and for it to come back would be, I think, a huge success for jersey collectors and Pittsburgh fans. I think a lot of people would really appreciate it in a limited release version. The blue in here with a gradient is a very interesting aspect. I think it's a little bit too bold, but I kind of like it at the same time. I'm a little bit conflicted with this uniform. Okay, next, San Jose Sharks. The San Jose Sharks have had this full Shark logo in their arsenal since 2016, and yet it has not made an appearance on the front of any of their jerseys. Great shoulder patch. It would be fine as a primary logo on the front of a jersey as well. I like the gray in there as well. I think this is a pretty good alternate, honestly, Tsunami. Good job. Next, Seattle. The Seattle Metropolitans were the first American hockey club to win the Stanley Cup. Yes, they were back in like 1916 or 14 or something like that. I can't remember, but yeah, they actually absolutely did. The Kraken's Winter Classic jersey in 2024 were definitely inspired by the Metros. However, the Kraken have never worn the classic logo and colors. They haven't had a chance to, but I think it's coming. I think we will see, if not something similar to this, almost identical to this. Like it is inevitable. It's going to happen for the Seattle Kraken. So very plausible here. Next, whoa. In 1995, the Blues' official word mark was changed to this very creative script, turning the B into a treble clef and using the 5 lines of the musical staff as striping. The word mark was replaced in 1998. That is a very aggressive jersey. I think a stadium series, like honestly a stadium series, you could do something like this. I think it would be, I don't want to say cool, but applicable. It meets the stadium series vibes, but as a regular alternate, definitely not. Moving on. The Bolts. When the Lightning were looking for a new alternate jersey for the 2008-2009 season, they decided on a jersey that would display the team's nickname, Bolts. Across the front, the jersey was not popular amongst fans. Yeah, it wasn't super popular, if I remember correctly, but they did bring it back for what was the Stadium Series a couple of years ago, and I think they would consider bringing it back as well. And the version here that Tsunami Boy has done, with a bit of lightning coming back, or coming down the arm, I think is pretty decent, honestly. And I like black as the base color here, so I could see something like this. Yeah, it's cool. Okay, moving on. Toronto Maple Leafs. For the 2001 season, the Leafs came up with this alternate logo. The logo was not very popular, with many fans saying it's too modern for an original 6 team, and it looks like a baseball logo. It was gone after the 2006-2007 season. Yeah, I remember this logo, and I remember it not being popular. I don't think it looks good on the front of a jersey either. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that at all. I can't imagine Leafs fans now would be pleased with that, so I'd say no for this one. Next, the Utah Mammoth. When the Arizona Coyotes Association was deemed inactive, all of their assets were transferred to the new Utah Hockey Club. However, many fans were sad to see that the Yotes Kachina style leave the NHL, especially after many thought that the new Mammoth jerseys were boring. Totally agree. Completely and totally agree. I think that this is a missed opportunity for the Utah Mammoth to do something pretty cool with their jerseys. I suspect they might do something like this in the future. Let's give them some time. I think is fair. But yeah, good design here. Moving on to the wow, the colors are amazing here. In the late 1980s, the Canucks considered rebranding to this teal and black design. They chose against it and switched to the Orca logo in 1997. Hi, sorry, there's gonna be a really weird cut here in the video. I apologize for that. My camera actually overheated. That is, I think maybe only happened once in the entire time I've had this camera. I'm filming a lot of videos at once now because I'm about to go on vacation. So I guess it was too many. My camera overheated. So I forget where I was when that actually happened. I think I just got done reading the little thing here from Tsunami about the Canucks. But I think that, well, my impression was very cool. I really like this design actually. I think that I would love to see like a permanent alternate almost of this. I think the colors are super interesting. I'm glad they didn't go this direction because the direction they went was obviously amazing. But this is it feels very nostalgic and very classic. I would definitely like to see something like this in the future. It'd be very cool. And I didn't know that. Like this is maybe you watch the video to see my reaction. Maybe you watch the video to see the designs. I don't exactly know, but rarely are the videos educational. So shout out to Tsunami for adding a little bit of education to this one. Thank you. Moving on to Vegas. Okay, so while developing the brand that would become the Vegas Golden Knights, the team went through a multitude of logo and jersey designs, including variations of the Knight helmets, swords, and the letter V. However, this creative design really stood out to me. Yeah, that would have been a crazy jersey, would it not? Like having like multiple striping, like vertically like that would be. This is very strange. I can't imagine that they would, like, obviously they didn't go this direction for a good reason, but I can't even imagine how people would have reacted if this had have been the actual design that they came out with. People would have lost their minds. But as like a stadium series or like weird winter classic or like weird retro jersey, I think you probably could do something like this. It'd be interesting. Okay, next the Capitals. For the 1995-1996 season, the Caps were considering a few different options for a potential rebrand, including this Capitol building, Capitol Hill style logo. Eventually, the design was abandoned, and instead, the Capitals chose a Screaming Eagle design. Well, thank goodness they chose the Screaming Eagle because that was amazing. But this is kind of cool at the same time as well. I could see this like as a weird winter classic or something. I think that'd be pretty neat. The font is interesting. So it feels like there's again too many big elements here. So I'd have to play around with it a little bit. But I like where you're going, Tsunami, with this one. Okay, the last one, which I think is the Jets. So although not many of the Jets jerseys are outright hated, this particular jersey was not overall popular amongst Jets fans because of the fact that the logo is simply just a script. Yeah, that's definitely accurate. I don't think it was a very popular. I think people liked the jersey, they just didn't really like the logo, and so I think that's fair. In terms of the uniform, I would probably change the numbers to white instead of the dark blue. They fade in too much with the background, but yeah, I mean it's pretty close to the version of the jersey, I guess, in a way. So not really much to say here. I think my favorite, actually, I don't know. I need to look through these again. Okay, some people might be a little bit angry at me for this, but I'm going to choose the Columbus Blue Jackets one for, I guess, two reasons. Number one, because that logo makes me very nostalgic, and I like to see it. I would like to see it come back. And number two, I really like the overall uniform design in general, specifically using the light blue as the primary color. I think that's excellent. The striping is good. The usage of the darker blue for balance is good as well. Yeah, it's a really good uniform overall. So Tsunami, thank you so much for submitting those. That was a really, really interesting concept set. I really appreciate you going through that. We've looked at hundreds of different series on the channel over the past couple of years, so it's pretty rare we get something very unique and new. So that's this video. So Tsunami, round of applause to you. Down below in the comment section, everyone give him some props, him or her some props. I appreciate you doing that. So thank you so much, and thank you to everyone who's watching this video. Hope you guys are having a great day. Let me know down below in the comment section what was your favorite from this video. I'm sure Tsunami's going to be reading the comments. Let me know if there's any interesting facts that you learned like I did in this video from some of the write-ups. I thought that was really interesting. And to any designers out there, if you want to put a little blurb for every design in the graphics like Tsunami did, that's totally okay. Feel free to do that in the future. Some context is not bad. Just don't make it a big giant book. I'm not going to read it at that point, but a little paragraph, absolutely. And of course, this video used the wonderful uniform template from sportstemplates.net, one of the best out there. We've got the regular jersey template, which a lot of people use, but there are flat lay designs. There's the full uniform one like you saw in this video. There's arena ones. There's other sports ones as well. So I would absolutely recommend checking out sportstemplates.net. It's what a lot of the designers use. And if you want to save 10%, use my code POST2POST. It'll save you that 10% off any template on the site, but there are also free ones on there too. So if you want to play around with your creativity, whether it's a paid template or whether it's a free template, that's totally fine. have fun. Have fun designing out there, guys. I appreciate you. We'll talk to you next time. Adios.